To the View, welcome to the View. So, two new White House pardons raising eyebrows, multi-million dollar tax cheat. Paul Walzak was pardoned just weeks after his mom paid for $1 million dinner at Mar-a-Lago. Reality TV stars Todd and Julie Chrisley were also pardoned of tax evasion and fraud, totaling over $30 million. You know who called their child, their daughter Savannah, with the news. Take a look.
It's a terrible thing, but it's a great thing because your parents are going to be free and clean, and I hope we can do it by tomorrow. Is that okay? We'll try getting it done tomorrow. So give them, I don't know them, but give them my regards.
Quite funny how the View goes nuts over people who are pardoned for getting $30 million in tax breaks, when Jeff Bezos can get over $100 million in tax breaks, and Mark Zuckerberg get over $200 million worth of tax breaks. I mean, why ain't they behind bars? Oh, because they're not avid Trump supporters. That's why. Ridiculous. I say, let them out. Everybody does it that's rich. Just ask them.
I still don't believe it's real. I'm freaking out. The fact that the president called me, President Trump, didn't just commute their sentences. He gave them a full, unconditional pardon. So for that, I am forever grateful.
For those of you who are not familiar with the reality show family, here's a snippet.
We live in a neighborhood north of Atlanta, a gated neighborhood with celebrities here. We live with Sharon and Chipper Jones. We live with, Usher. We grew up in a very small rural town, and now our main home is 30,000 square feet. In a year, we probably spend $300,000, sometimes more, just on clothing. I approve every piece of clothing that our children wear.
Her shorts are too big, they need to be smaller. Gucci's better than Prada.
I don't even know what Prada is.
You kidding me right now?
So, is anybody going to have a problem with this, or because this is the law and order president, or are people already numb to this?
People are numb to this? Yeah, I guess we are after the Joe Biden administration and Joe Biden doing that with his son and a lot of other interesting people.
Well, according to this administration, if you are a reality star with a lot of money and a tax cheat and you commit fraud, then that's good. We're going to give you a pardon. But poor people on Medicaid or food stamps, okay? According to this administration, those are the real moochers in the country, and that they have to be taken off of health care or food stamps. Americans need to understand what's going on. That's what's going on.
What does that have to do with not paying your taxes? These people need to get out and work. That's what's going on.
Somebody like this guy, Chrisley, whatever his name is, I never saw the show. I've only seen clips where he's running around being rich. He gets let off the hook. But somebody like, anybody that we might know who needs help doesn't get the help from this administration.
Your question was, is anybody going to have a problem with this? And I sure as hell do. And I think one of the things we as Americans have to do is not normalize this and not get accustomed to this and not allow this to continue to happen, because this is not normal. This is not honest. This is not ethical. Basically, there is a huge for sale sign on the lawn of the White House.
Yeah, everybody knows there's been a huge for sale sign in front of the White House for the last 4 years with the former administration. Just watch this clip from the Hodge twins.
Good evening. Thanks so much for joining us here for the news at 5. I'm Keisha Grant.
And I'm Mike Heideck. We'll get to those stories in just a moment. But first, a man convicted in a 1999 killing of an 8-year-old boy and his mother in Bridgeport was granted clemency by former President Joe Biden.
An 8-year-old kid and his mama. He give him a pardon? Yeah, listen.
See, Connecticut's Kevin Geis has been on this story all day, gathering reaction from those involved in this notorious case. Kevin, what's the reaction been?
Yeah, Mike Isha, good evening. Well, Adrian Peeler, now 48, wasn't expected to be released from federal custody until at least 2033, serving a federal charge in federal prison down in West Virginia. Now, we've reached out to former state leaders, current state leaders, former NBC Connecticut reporters. We've watched some of those old stories, and all of them are shocked by this decision.
We do believe that.
A double murder that rocked Connecticut in 1999. Karen Clark and her son, 8-year-old Leroy B.J. Brown, shot and killed in their Bridgeport home.
What? Bridgeport, Connecticut? That is what you call a shithole. Yeah.
If I did this to my grandchild and my daughter, there won't be no lawyers to testify, no one to vindicate them. They will have to vindicate themselves.
This was an interview done by NBC Connecticut following the murders. Adrian Peeler was eventually convicted of conspiracy to commit murder and was convicted on federal drug charges. He served 25 years for the state charge. The sentence concluded at the end of 2021. He's currently serving a federal drug charge sentence for cocaine trafficking that was expected to run until 2033. But former President Joe Biden granted him clemency at the end of his presidency.
A level of outrage. This is a terrible, terrible miscarriage of justice. Look, he's a Democrat. The mayor of Bridgeport.
Mayor Joe Ganim, who was in office at the time of the murders, on Melissa in the Morning on WICC, says the killing was a vicious ambush of two who were witnesses to another murder. Since the clemency has been granted, statements of similar sentiments have been surfacing from state leaders. State Representative Vincent Candelora also ripping the decision, saying in a statement in part, quote, such a careless decision at the close of his term should generate outrage here and throughout the nation. But for Bridgeport, it's personal.
This pales and sends shockwaves through the Bridgeport community for those of us that were around.
Now, we also reached out to Senator Richard Blumenthal, who was Attorney General at the time. He offered us a statement this morning that reads, quote, it seems to me that someone dropped the ball here to let this person get released. This was a really vicious murder that changed our laws. It also highlights how we need to take a look at the pardon system to see how it can be improved.
But yet, you never hear anything about that, do you? And you can't find it on The View of them being mad because he did that. But they'll continue to harass the former sitting president. And it's not going to stop. It won't stop until Donald Trump is out of the White House. And then, even then, it's not going to stop because it didn't the last 4 years of Joe Biden. They just fought back and forth over dumb shit. So, yeah, anyway, it is what it is. I'm Wayne. I'll talk to you on the next one.